Welcome viewers, here we are, another ride out on the NT 1100, this time with a difference.
It is Friday. I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, damn, I've got to go to work. And then I remembered, I'm retired, I don't have to work anymore. So instead of going to work, after waking up and having a lovely breakfast, without thinking about rushing to work and the jobs I have to do for the day, had the breakfast, a little bit of a relaxing 10 minutes in the garage, tinkering, and then I'm out for a ride on the bike. I have neglected the NT 1100 for a few months because while I'm working, it's not been very easy to get out on it often. But on a day like this, look at it, there's not a cloud in the sky. It's brilliant. So I'm going to make the most of it. I am going to the shops to pick up a bit of food. Normally I would ride straight to the shops, pick up what I wanted, and then ride back home. But as I'm not working anymore, there's no rush to get back. So before I go shopping, I'm going to have a quick trip to Ainsford, have a little sit by the river if it's quiet, and if the river's a bit busy, which I don't think it will be during the day, but we'll see. I'll go and have a park by a little bench which is underneath a railway bridge, stone bridge, arch bridge. I'll show you that today, I think. Now, I have been asked by one of my subscribers how I'm getting on with the NT 1100, and for that subscriber and everybody else who's interested, I've had the NT 1100 for just over a year now, and I've not had any issues with it whatsoever. I do usually go shopping, fill the panniers up, which is what I'm going to do now, but I haven't got the panniers on. I only need a few bits, so I left the top box on. I normally only put the panniers on if I'm going on a trip up north, which I do probably once or twice a month. But the panniers are pretty big. They're bigger than the NC 750X, which I used to have. I can get more in them for sure. And I don't think you get the top box on the new ones now. I think mine came with a top box when I got it. And it also came with all the bags inside. There's like cloth bags with zips on. You get them with it. I've got them and I've never used them, to be honest. And on a day like today, if you're just cruising along, it's a wonderful thing to be on. Comfortable. The screen, I've never had an issue with the screen. People moan about the fact you can't take it down and up while you're riding, and I know the new NT 1100 has got a little lever there you can lift up and down, but once I'm riding along there's no need to change it, and there's always somewhere to stop and change it if you ever want to. The lights, I think they call them daylights, I think, on the indicators that are on all the time. People moaned about them as well and said they're distracting and while you're riding, but if you've owned one of these bikes, and most people who do these tests haven't ridden them for any period of time, I would take notice of the people who have actually owned one for a period of time and know what it's like. When you're riding along, you never notice them. Never do I notice them whatsoever. So we're riding along in drive at the moment. Normally I would put this to sport, just to put on a lower gear more often, and it just makes it a little bit less chuggy at the low speeds, because it is a bit chuggy in my opinion on the very, very low speeds if you leave it in auto, so you have to put it into sport one. Well, I do anyway. It's my riding style, and everybody has their own riding style. Now, Android Auto is probably one of the best things I like about the bike. Sat nav tells you exactly where you're going. You can ask it questions, you can ask it what the weather's like. Now here we are, we're just going to stop here at Ainsford for a few minutes. And as you can see, it's a lovely place this, especially when it gets sunny, it gets busy. But we're going to stop here and have a quick rest before we do our shopping. Now this is something I never would have done when I was working. I would never have the time to take my bike out and just stop somewhere. Now on the twisties, by the way, the NT 1100, again, no problems. The very, very tight bends, I have found them to be sometimes a bit of a challenge. The turning circle is not as great as the NC 750X I had. Now there's that bridge, the railway bridge. And that bridge, that direction, it goes towards Maidstone, Sevenoaks, and that way goes towards Swanley and London. It's a nice little place to stop this. We're going to stop for 5 minutes here and have a chat about the bike. And there's that marvellous bridge. They built them well in the day. No, engine off. Side stand. I use the side stand all the time. I don't normally use the centre stand. We'll have a sit down. I'm going to have a rest, so give me 5 minutes. Retired life, isn't it wonderful?
Before I get off to go and do my shopping, here's a few thoughts on the bike after ownership for about a year. First thing I'd like to say is the stopping power is very, very good. It has dual discs on the front and they are very, very effective at slowing the bike down. The suspension on the motorbike is okay. I like to have it on the soft side. The front inverted forks work perfectly, and it does have a preload adjustment for the rear wheel suspension. I normally have this very, very soft because that's the way I like to ride. Now the front screen on the NT 1100 is adjustable, and people have moaned the fact they can't adjust it manually while riding along, but there is never any need to do that. I leave it in one position, the higher position, and very rarely have I adjusted it to the downward position. The switch clusters on the bike, although they look complicated, the left hand having many buttons and the right one having quite a few buttons as well, they seem complicated, but once you get used to them after having the bike for a while, it's never an issue. You get used to where the up is, the down is, changing the menus, and it becomes a nice fluid operation once you're riding along. So with these, it's practice makes perfect. The instrument cluster is LCD and it has all the controls, has your sat nav, your navigation from Android Auto, menus, and it's very, very clear. You can change your riding modes on this screen as well. I'll finish this video off with a picture of the motorbike with the panniers on, fully loaded. This is when I went up to the Lake District on the bike a couple of months ago. It has enough capacity for 2 helmets in the top box and lots of gear in each of the panniers. As you can see, they're very, very big. So as you can see, it's a wonderful sunny day. I'm just getting used to this retirement lark, and I think it's going to be very, very enjoyable. If you do have any comments or would like to know any more information about the NT 1100, please leave a note in the comments and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. That's as long as I'm not out riding. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.